What's this man doing? Drinking coffee, you say? And this man? And this one? Actually, they're all doing the same thing. They're getting a few deals started through Prosperous Prospecting. All three salesmen work at Denoyer Chevrolet, located in the breakfast cereal capital of the world, Battle Creek, Michigan. And all three have their own proved ways of digging up prospects when they need them the most. Hard at work in this restaurant is Sabin Kent, new car salesman who believes in making personal contacts away from the dealership. He started selling cars at the age of 50. Past experience? Selling cemetery plots.
That's the toughest thing there is to sell. I was on straight salary then. It was hard to dig up the right kind of prospects. But 3 years of selling cars has changed my whole philosophy of selling. I think the secret is to know a lot of people and to work hard to get their business. The more contacts I make and the harder I work, the more money I make.
Without any backlog of owners to depend on, Sabin Kent had to prospect. Since he already belonged to many organizations in Battle Creek, he began by selectively contacting his fellow club members and friends from his previous selling career. Then, as now, he cultivated as many bird dogs as he could find. His best bird dogs are with local banks, finance companies, and other commercial institutions. They tell him the names of people whose installment notes are about to be paid out. Another place where Sabin Kent finds prospects is close at hand, the service department at Denoyer Chevrolet. He parks his demonstrator outside during the early morning rush. When he spots a likely prospect, he greets him. If the prospect has to leave his car for service, Sabin Kent drives him to work or wherever he's headed and demonstrates all the lanes ready. Our second hard-working prospector is Carl Steimanoff. He's been in the automobile business a long time, so he has a big owner following, and he works hard for repeat business.
Of course, no matter how hard you work, you lose a percentage of your owners every year. You have to add new owners regularly. And let's face it, walk-ins are always a good source for new owners, but they're not enough. And when traffic falls off, well, you got to get something else started.
One of the first things Carl Steimanoff gets started is to read the newspaper for fun and profit. He's alert to recognizing local people who are in the news and in seeking them out.
Every man who gets a big promotion starts to think about buying a new car, a new home, or both. I try to make sure he gives priority to a new car.
Other local news items which provide leads include contest winners, beneficiaries, new and better addresses, expanding businesses, births, weddings, vacations, testimonial dinners, and one of the best sources, the classified advertising pages. A lot of people are trying to sell their cars privately before buying new ones. Carl calls them and talks trade. If they insist on going it alone, he tries again after they make the sale and have cash in hand. Another thing Carl does, he tries to multiply each deal by asking for 3 or 4 personal credit references instead of the usual 1.
I keep a copy of those 4 names, and then I call on each of them personally. In this way, they become good prospects as well as references. They know somebody who's satisfied with the deal he got from me.
Kermit Lemon, our third prosperous prospector, isn't a string saver. He puts it to use. A firm believer in direct mail, he uses this device to follow up on telephone prospecting calls.
If people didn't say no on the telephone, but they still haven't come in, I send this piece of string with a letter which asks them, "Have you forgotten our conversation about buying a Chevrolet?" I ask them to put this piece of string around their finger to remind them to come in and see me so we can tie up a deal to save them some money.
Kermit Lemon is primarily a used car man, but there are months when he outsells all the other salesmen, new or used. He makes about 10 mailings a year to all his owners and prospects. He tries to keep the letters timely. For example, January 24th is the anniversary of the discovery of gold in California in 1848. Kermit Lemon takes this golden opportunity to do a little prospecting himself. Mails the prospect an imitation gold nugget. Follows it up with a phone call. Every month has some special occasion.
Here's another one I like. A penny for your thoughts about buying a 1963 Chevrolet. You just stick the penny on there and later follow up with a phone call.
Here's an unusual mailing piece designed to get quick action. A special delivery letter to your owners on the second or third anniversary of their purchase.
I tell the prospect, 3 years ago we made a very special delivery to you, a 1960 Chevrolet. Again, this is the best time of the year to trade up to the exciting new 1963 model.
All the salesmen at Denoyer have helped spur sales during dry spells by jotting down license numbers of desirable used cars in employee parking lots. Good merchandise that can be moved on the used car lot. Then looking up the owners on the registration lists and calling them after working hours. They also get lists from instructors of students who take driver training courses. Then they track down every eligible senior and try to sell him or her on a new or used car. Using the calendar as a working tool, the Denoyer salesmen milk each deal for more with what they call the 4 and 40 system. 4 days after delivery of a new car, they make a goodwill call to be sure the owner's happy. They do not ask for referrals at this time. But if the owner has a hot prospect, he'll usually speak up. 40 days after delivery, they call again. And this time, they do ask for referrals. With the friendship better cemented, the salesman usually finds the owner more willing and able to supply good referrals. Each of these salesmen uses the techniques which work best for him in getting immediate action. Sabin Kent favors personal contact. Carl Steimanoff works his owners thoroughly and tries to multiply each deal. Kermit Lemon is strong on direct mail. If you want action, take a tip from these men. Select the technique which will work best for you. Work it diligently. Keep at it. You'll create the sales you need for the kind of income you want. Start today on the road to prosperous prospecting. What's this man doing? Drinking coffee, you say? And this man